Today's video examines a sentencing hearing that serves as a masterclass in how not to speak to a judge. We're in Warren County, Ohio, looking at the case of Leif Burleson, a defendant who attempted to play two sides of the fence and ultimately paid the price.
I don't have a problem with that. I never said that. If I did, I didn't mean to.
Burleson is facing sentencing for an assault charge. His attorney, Mr. Borger, is doing his best to paint a sympathetic picture. He talks about Burleson losing his mother, his home, and living out of a car. In the legal world, these are mitigating factors. Judges are required to look at these life circumstances to see if a lighter sentence is justified.
Your Honor, I know that we had some discussion back in chambers, but I want to reiterate a couple things. One, I've been able to read the pre-sentence investigation, also been able to read the letter that my client had sent to you. I'm frankly surprised at the letter that he had sent to you. I don't know that, well, I think that he wants to discuss that, but essentially what I want you to know is that he's had a very tough time of it very recently. His mother died. He was living in his mother's home over in Hamilton. That home got sold, and when it got sold, he had to live out of his car hotel. It's no excuse for what occurred. He took responsibility for the assault. I think that the letter he sent to you may have obviated that somewhat, but I don't think that that's what his intention was, at least in my conversation with him.
Mr. Burleson, anything you want to say?
Well, first, I'm sorry about the letter. I was angry. I admit that. Not at you, more at myself in the situation.
Burleson takes the mic, and he's doing okay at first. He's emotional, he's talking about his daughter, and he's owning the mistake.
I lost everything, Judge, all the way down to the picture of my daughter, who's no longer with me, I'll never see again, and I literally can't see her face. That bothers me tremendously. I mean, it eats me up. I said in that letter, Judge, I'm 50 years old. I've made a lot of foolish mistakes. In your courtroom 5-6 years ago, I said the same thing. I was wrong then. I'm wrong now. I should have never been in that position with this woman. I should have never been arguing with somebody at 11 o'clock at night. That's on me. I am guilty of that. Absolutely. And, you know, what else can I say other than I got 8 weeks till winter kicks in. I can't work. I'm trying to get my life together. I still owe him court costs. I lost everything. I'm not asking you to think, I'm not saying justified. I'm not shunning responsibility. I'm guilty. And I'm sorry to her, you, Ms. Tramp, the court, myself. It's been a rough road.
But here's where the audit comes in. Watch the judge's face. He's not looking at Burleson. He's looking at a folder on his desk. That folder contains the pre-sentence investigation, or PSI. Under Ohio Criminal Rule 32.2, a probation officer interviews the defendant before sentencing to see if they're a good candidate for probation.
At some point, Mr. Burleson, I don't understand, just in reviewing your record, I mean, this is, you have some pretty serious cases that you picked up down in Florida.
Yes, sir.
Burglaries, attempted burglaries, robbery. I mean, this is not your first go round. You've been before this court before. You have a substance use disorder that you seem to just kind of gloss over. In fact, the recommendation is that you do an inpatient treatment program, and I will tell you that it's fairly rare for the assessor to recommend that. I'm just telling you that right now.
The judge points out Burleson's prior record in Florida, including burglaries and robberies. Under the law, a history of recidivism or repeating crimes is one of the strongest reasons for a judge to impose a harsher sentence. The judge also notes a substance use disorder that Burleson seemingly glossed over.
Even in this case, you tested positive for methamphetamines, and at 50 years old, it's time for you to stop using illegal drugs, recreationally or otherwise. It's time for you to start obeying the law, and this whole attitude that you have that the law doesn't apply to you. You tried to manipulate this case. You tried to manipulate the witness in this case, and you can deny it all you want, but the evidence was very clear that you tried to coerce her into dropping these charges. I'm actually quite surprised that the prosecutor didn't try to charge you with an additional felony for that, but they didn't. it's hard, it's very hard, and I understand you're in a bad situation, but the problem that I have is you put yourself in this situation. Your choices through your life the last 30 years have put you in this position. So it's very hard to have sympathy on you when it's your choice. It wasn't my choice to put you in this situation. It was yours. When you make bad choices, there are always bad consequences. Whether they're immediate or not, there's always bad consequences, and you continue to demonstrate that you make bad choices. So I don't know what you want me to do about that.
The real turning point comes when the judge reads back Burleson's own words from the pre-sentence investigation report. A PSI is used to help the court determine if a defendant is amenable to community control, basically whether they can be trusted on probation. The judge reveals that when Burleson was away from the cameras and talking to the probation officer, he didn't sound sorry at all. He claimed he was the victim, called the system disgusting, and then, the nail in the coffin, he reportedly said, "Fuck probation."
But I understand you don't want to be on supervision, so the only option left for me then is to not offer you any assistance, but simply to try to punish you in this case.
It's not, you could put me on probation, Judge. I don't have a problem with that. I never said that. If I did, I didn't mean to. I was under probation and did quite well. I successfully completed it. In your courtroom, I had 3 years, and I got off in a year. I paid my fines. I work. When I work, I do well. You know, and you're right. I have a substance abuse problem. I do, Judge. I was clean for a long time. No excuse. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm not shunning responsibility. I'm not trying to manipulate you or anything. I said in that letter, if I'm guilty of anything, it's being in that position in the first place that I put myself in. I'm not blaming this on anybody. It's been 6 years since I've been in trouble.
When asked about the case, you said, if there was a victim in the case, Mr. Burleson answered, "Yes, me, I'm a victim."
I'm sorry.
Mr. Burleson, is there anything else that you want to tell me? Just get it out now, because once you're done and it's my turn to speak, I don't appreciate being interrupted. Again, this is just part of your whole attitude, and I'm going to get to it here in a second. Your whole attitude towards authority, your whole attitude towards the system, it's just, you need to change it, because you're always going to end up in this situation. And again, you do not garner much sympathy from the court when you continue to act this way. So is there something else you want to say?
No.
All right. When asked if there was a victim in the offense, Mr. Burleson answered, "Yes, me, I'm a victim. She obstructed, she perjured, she is free. I lost everything. She fed me months of arrest. I'll not apologize for it. This whole system is full of shenanigans and is disgusting. I literally lost everything, and she feeds me, and I'm in more trouble. This is all a joke. Everyone should be ashamed of themselves. This isn't justice." So how do I reconcile that with your coming in here saying, "Oh yes, I've admitted my guilt. I was wrong"? How do I reconcile that with what your words are? This is after you've already pled guilty, and then you send a letter to me, which I read, by the way, and indicate that you kind of said in your letter that you didn't do anything. How do I justify that?
I was angry, Judge. I lost everything. I was just angry. There was a video. I did walk away. I did get punched, spit in my face, slapped, hit, my property destroyed. That did happen. It doesn't justify nothing, but it did happen. I was angry, Judge. And I can tell you, I'm sorry.
I'm going to go further, because you couldn't stop there. During the process of preparing this report, that they had some follow-up questions for you, and your response was, "Fuck probation, I'm not speaking to them." Then you called back and you answered the questions. This is for pretrial. Asked if you'd be willing to comply with all orders of the court if granted community control, your response was, "I will not do community control unless it is non-reporting. I have given enough for this M1. I want to rebuild my life. I'm going to resolve the M1 Hamilton County, then go to North Dakota." Right?
I didn't write ever anything about F probation or whatever that was. I don't know what that's about. I mean, again, not in no position to sit here and say, hey, it's just a misdemeanor. Judge, all I'm saying is, I'm not going to say anything because I obviously get myself in more trouble here. Look, I'm sorry.
All right, the court has considered the statements made here today, the pre-sentence investigation, the purposes and principles of sentencing, the relevant seriousness and recidivism factors. Mr. Burleson, I'm not going to supervise you. I'm not going to waste everybody's time. You clearly don't want help. I don't think that putting you at this point in time in an inpatient treatment facility that you're going to like that or that you're going to want that. So I'm just going to order you to serve 136 days in the Warren County Jail. You'll get credit for the 76 days you've already served, and then you will be terminated. The court finds that you're indigent for the purpose of any fines, costs, or other financial sanctions. That's it.